What do the rich buy that the poor don't even know is available for purchase? Pet cloning. Ex-boss was getting his dog cloned for $100,000. Oh, I've heard of this. There's a company in Texas that does it kinda regularly, apparently now. $25,000 for a cat, $50,000 for a dog. It's something like a $1 2K deposit, just for them to send your vet the kit to obtain biosamples and to store the material. You pay the rest of it whenever you're ready to clone your critter. Edit. The company is called Viagin, if anyone's curious. My dad barely qualifies as a millionaire in the loose sense. He has told me that there is a certain threshold of wealth where you can just become reliably wealthier and wealthier without a big limit. It goes like this. He has a friend from Berkeley who worked on Wall Street in the 80s and left with about $1 million in his bank account by age 35. He used half of that money to start his own business, which solar product that was greatly needed by other businesses in the area. After about 4 years of that, he bought an apartment complex for some side income. After 7 years, the apartment complex has paid for itself, and he spends the profit that year on becoming a majority shareholder in another small business in the area. After making money on that, he starts another small business, this time really loosely run by him, with a separate CEO to run the company. Using previously accumulated money, he buys a golf course, and now he's technically unemployed. But the dude makes between 3 and 4 million a year off of his passive income. He called me a little while ago, saying that his son is a bit of a troublemaker, and that he wants to send him to the military school, where I went. I wouldn't be surprised if his son never sees him. Private jet timeshares. For those not quite rich enough for their own private jet, or those rich people wanting to be a bit frugal, the really rich motto: if it flies, floats, or satisfies, you rent it. Time. All that crap you do. Commuting, grocery shopping, cooking, cleaning your house, waiting on hold, paying bills. All those chunks of your life that are eaten up by minutiae. Rich people buy out of all that routine garbage. Time is all you really get in your life. Rich people buy it back. Something they do that most people don't know about is buy entire libraries at once. My sister used to work at a bookstore and told me someone came in and wanted to furnish their library with a library-size purchase of books. They just wanted cherry-picked bestsellers, left to the discretion of the people working there. It sounded wild. Some wealthy people also buy books as decoration, with no intent of reading most of them. They buy books from wholesalers by the linear foot, specifying how the books look on the shelf, size, color, material of spine, etc., without any regard for what the books actually are. They just need to fill wall space in library office rooms in their homes. Landing 747s in small airports. I grew up around Lexington, KY. The region is huge on horses, particularly thoroughbred horses. The entire city is surrounded by horse farms, and these farms breed some of the best racing horses in the world. The rich and famous will often come here to buy thoroughbreds to add to their breeding stock. One such person is a sheik from Dubai, I think, who owns his own private 747. Now the local airport isn't rated for 747s, and it's not legal to land one there unless it's an emergency. The sheik doesn't care though and lands his 747 there anyways. The airport fines him every time he does this, which he's totally fine with paying. I've been told that many of the upgrades to the airport over the years were almost entirely funded with money from those fines. In London, rich people figured out it was cheaper to just park on the streets illegally and just pay the fines every day than to pay for parking in the city. So the city started clamping cars. So the rich people started paying people to go and pay the fine for the car to be unclamped before they wanted to leave. Anything that is punishable by fine is legal for the rich. Private boarding gate at certain airports, complete with showers, a spa, full bar, lounge, food, a bed, gym, sauna, etc. Total privacy. Your luggage is scanned and taken through security by a concierge, and you're driven to the plane in a BMW 8 Series. LAX has them now. Unique items. Occasionally you see in the news stuff like hat used in some popular movie auctioned for $80,000, or 5,000-year-old Egyptian statue auctioned for $2 million. And I think, what kind of auction do you even go to buy that kind of thing? I'm not rich, but due to the fact that my dad was a top-level government official and I went to a very elite private boarding school, I hung out with some fabulously wealthy kids, i.e. rich parents. What surprised me is what a portion of very rich people don't buy. I noticed that a surprising percentage of very wealthy people don't buy super fancy cars. For example, one family who owned a world-famous beverage company all drove around in nondescript SUVs or minivans. Some rich people are extremely flashy, but others are almost manic about not being seen as crass. And to those people, a supercar is crass, but apparently having a $10 million home in Palm Beach is not crass. Access. Money buys you access to people, places and events. It also buys you inaccessibility. I know a couple of billionaires, both have yachts. That way they can get away from everyone else and just bring in the people they want to spend time with. The planet isn't that big. So my friend said he kept bumping into the same people all over the place. Gustave, Barbados, wherever a sane crowd of loaded people in the same restaurants and hotels. In the end, he bought a yacht, kitted it out like he wanted it, and just flew in his pals. Relationships. I once worked at an Olympic horse ranch in Colorado, and the owner was from Seattle and was friends with someone that played guitar Kurt Cobain. Then talking to one of the riders, they had been to a party over the weekend that Mark Zuckerberg was at. That's when it hit me. When you're rich, you just know everyone, or know someone that knows them. 6 degrees of separation is only for the masses. The elites is closer to 2 or 1. Entire floors of hotels, or multiple floors, entire restaurants. Chefs from literally any restaurant in the world to cook for them, wherever they are. I saw all of those things done by a prince of Saudi Arabia. We estimated it cost him $50,000 just for the one private meal in our restaurant, given that he had the top 4 floors of our hotel booked for the hundreds of staff to take care of him, his wife and his 2 kids, plus likely some concubines. If I'm being honest, as someone in this part of the world, being rich equals the number of people who work for you. He paid $30,000 just to close our restaurant for one meal. Flew his favorite chef from New York to Orlando to cook for him on his private jet, and then back again. Of course, it was likely the other private jet he had just for his staff, not for himself or his family. Make food our entire staff, all the kitchen staff, all the federal, state and local security, and him, his wife and his 2 kids. I have posted the entire story somewhere else in the past, but I couldn't find it easily. I had a buddy who taught ski lessons to another Saudi prince's little kid and had some nearly unbelievable and yet similar details during his interactions with them. That kid had an entire team around him, or probably 10 staff, plus vehicles, snowmobiles, a helicopter, and so on. I later met a guy who worked on an ultra-luxury 300-foot yacht and served Bill Gates and his wife, among other super-rich people. Their primary job was to operate without interacting with them, or at least as little as possible. This shows you, in some sense, that having people around you doing stuff you need to be done, but doing it invisibly is another perk of being rich. Private performances with big-name artists. I was on a yacht in the Virgin Islands, and some mega yacht owner pretty close to us had Christina Aguilera flown in to perform for his guest on the mega yacht. We were close enough to see the performance, not close enough to pretend to be part of the party. Everyone knows about mega yachts, but the very rich also enjoy their own trains, or at the very least private super luxurious train cars with their budgets. It isn't expensive to rent space on freight lines and an engine, assuming they don't own their own. Sometimes a group of friends will hook their private cars together and motor around a continent, having a big party. A while back, some guy on here was talking about his experience working as a sort of personal manager for a billionaire and how things are just wildly different for them. The specific example he used was how things work When these people want to go on a trip and give any notice at all to their employees, what happens is that an advance team gets sent ahead by a few days to scope out the rented, bought location and report back exact dimensions for closet space, drawer space, etc. People back at the home go through the clothing, jewelry, etc. and draw up a priority list, which is sent to the advance team. The advance team then spends the next 2 days purchasing the list of items, entire wardrobes, jewelry sets, makeup kits, bathing supplies, etc. Anything they cannot get not enough time, or is one of a kind like the family heirloom watch the rich dude wears every now and then, is relayed to the house team. The family's schedule is arranged such that the moment the family leaves the house on the day of travel, a whole team of people rushes through and packs up all the remaining items only after the family leaves. You wouldn't want to deny them access to their items for even a few seconds, which are then sent ahead to the airport while the family has a lunch or something somewhere. Upon landing, their luggage takes one route direct, and the family takes a similarly indirect route, unless otherwise directed, such that by the time they get to the location, all of their items are not just unpacked, but in their proper organized locations and ready for use, without any of the advance team either being visible to the family. What happens when the family leaves the location? The same situation in reverse, but quite frequently all of the repurchased items are just disposed of in some method. It's just easier, if not cheaper, to rebuy them each time the family goes somewhere, if they aren't traveling to too many different locations in quick succession. Thanks for watching. Share your stories in the comments about what the wealthy buy that the less fortunate might not even know exists. Watch our other videos and don't forget to subscribe.